Hello, I am Raging Worlds, and today we're going to be talking about Warframe and how it is a dopamine overload. Warframe is a game you're most likely familiar with if you are clicking on this video, or you probably heard of it at least once. Now with Warframe, there is many things it does to keep you playing more and more and more and more and more. That is exactly what we're going to be going over in this video. Now when I say Warframe is a dopamine overload, what do I mean by that? What does that exactly mean? Well, first, I think we should go over what exactly dopamine is. I'm sure some of you or a lot of you might know what it is, but for the people who don't, we're going to be going over what that is exactly. Now, there's many details about what dopamine is, but the main thing is that it's a neurotransmitter for when you do something that is rewarding, and that thing transmits to your brain. It tells you, hey, I like this, hey, I love this, this feels good. And so what does this mean in the context of what we're talking about? Well, in this case, like I said before, Warframe does many things to get you playing more and more and more and more and more. And these things that you do that keep you playing, well, they are very rewarding, and that is because the grinding in this game is actually very well thought out. Even though it is tedious, it still doesn't change the fact that those tedious things won't stop you from doing them because of the rewards you're going to be getting from this game. And when that is 90% of the game, you can understand how this could be a dopamine overload if you're constantly getting the stuff you want over and over and over again. Now, how does Warframe manage to do this, right? And what can other devs and other people who are looking to make a game or an online multiplayer experience, whether that be an MMORPG, action RPG that's online, or anything that's online in general, what can they take from Warframe? Well, what Warframe does is they have you doing many steps to getting what you want. And because that reward you're getting is rewarding, it is going to be worth the wait or worth the grind. It was a tedious grind, but it was a tedious grind that was actually worth something. If it wasn't worth it, then that would be the issue. And if it was too easy, then that would also be the issue, because if something is too easy to getting what you want, then you could easily get everything you want, and then you'll end up leaving the game, because why else would I play this game when I have a lot of stuff I want, and the stuff I want is easy to get? But yeah, no, Warframe has you doing many simple steps to getting what you want, and while these simple steps can be tedious, they are still simple at the end of the day. And once you finally do all those simple steps and you get that thing you want, well, that is rewarding to the brain, so there is dopamine in that, and that is pretty much 90% of Warframe in general. And that dopamine that you're getting from these rewards is going to keep you playing over and over and over again, causing you to gain even more dopamine. And then that is why I call this a dopamine overload, because you're getting so much of it. I've played Warframe for over 1,000 hours now, and I've managed to get a lot of dopamine of it because of this format that the devs were using. Obviously, they might have not realized what they were doing themselves, but maybe they are just that smart. I don't know, but this is pretty much how it is. When you obviously worked towards something you deserve, you are going to like that feeling, and that is what keeps you playing, and that is what other devs need to strive for. Because I think what happens when it comes to, multiplayer games that fail or MMOs that fail, what happens is that there just isn't enough dopamine. And trust me, no matter what you say, even if you force yourself to play these games, I promise you, you will be able to leave them. That is because even with the addictiveness of that game, like I said before, it is short term. The dopamine we are looking for is the one that you love and the one that you want more of. You want to keep playing it because you love it so much. You want more and more and more and more and more of it, because of how good it feels, because of how rewarding it feels. That is the dopamine that we are looking for. Not just because it's better or feels better, but because it's logically better and it is objectively better. See, the thing is that these companies that are hiring these guys who are, hired to put in these manipulative tactics in order to get people to play their game for longer player time or to buy all of these things and all that stuff, they don't have to do that. If they want to manipulate, they gotta at least use the right manipulation. But the thing is that these people are too lazy to do that, so they only go for the short term. Not that they probably even understand what I'd be talking about if they watch this video anyways. I mean, maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, I don't know. But what I really am saying is like, I don't think this concept of the dopamine that I'm talking about, I don't think companies realize that they can just use that. And even if they did realize it, I just think they probably wouldn't use it anyways because of how that is more long term. It requires doing more things like playing your own game. Now look, if there's anything a dev can take from watching this video, if there is a dev watching this video or a company by chance watching this video, well, what you can do is you can play your own game and ask yourself, is this enough dopamine? Am I getting enough dopamine from my own game? Because if you're not, then chances are, if it is a multiplayer game or almost any game in general, then it's probably not a good game. Really depends on what game it is, but for the most part, if it is a multiplayer game or a MMO or anything like that, is probably not a good game. Because if there's a lack of dopamine, then why else would I even play the game anymore and just move on to another game that could possibly provide me with that dopamine that I'm looking for? With Warframe, there are things like the mods, the relics, the primes, the incarnate weapons. There are many things to look forward to in getting in that game. The mods allow you to become more powerful with every mod you have, and you're going to be looking for certain powerful mods while playing the game in order to become more powerful. When it comes to the incarnate weapons, these are weapons that are stronger versions of other weapons, and so you're going to be wanting those upgrades because of how much better the weapon will now be when it finally becomes a incarnate weapon. Then you have the Warframes. Of course, you're going to want a Warframe because there are many of them and they have unique abilities and they have their own unique powers that you might like and that will cause you to maybe main them. And of course, you're going to want a better version of your Warframe, so why not go for the primes, which are pretty much just that. Did Warframe just add an update where I can have my Warframe now be an incarnate and a stronger version of how my Warframe already is? Holy shit, let me go get that and let me become more powerful. You see, people say Warframe's true endgame is the fashion, but really it's all about becoming more and more and more powerful. That is what Warframe is all about. It's like a power-hungry simulator. A ninja simulator, but a ninja simulator that is about becoming the strongest you can be. And when you become very powerful, it then starts to become more like a sandbox, and you're pretty much testing these experiments of how you can kill these enemies in different ways. Speaking of experimenting, if there is a certain build you're looking for, well, you're going to have to grind for it if you don't have the necessary things for it, of course. But once you do get that thing, it is going to be rewarding to the brain, causing more dopamine and getting you closer to that goal of getting that build that you want, so that you can use that build and test it for experimenting on these enemies on how it can kill them. I, for one, did a recent build where I had my Ember with the Fire Frenzy augment and the Thermal Transfer augment, and I used this for the Hate with the Burning Hate mod, because the Burning Hate mod makes it so that you're 120% more vulnerable to heat damage. So that makes the weapon much more powerful, and so far it's been working out, and I think there's even ways to make it more powerful. There were many steps I had to take to even get to that point. I had to get base Gauss first. I already had Gauss Prime, but not the base version, so I had to get the base Gauss. Then I had to sacrifice my Gauss to the Helmuth, and then what I had to do is put the Thermal Sunder on my Ember, so then I could put Thermal Transfer on her. And I wasn't even sure this would work, because I was like, okay, where can I even put Thermal Sunder on her? Like, I need her Fire Blast, and I need her too as well. So what the hell am I gonna do? And then I was also like, hey, I also need her Inferno, because I need that to increase the rate at which the bar for the Inferno, or not the Inferno, but her 2 to go up. You know what that is. But yeah, no, I didn't need that. I only needed her 1 in order for that bar to go up. So I was like, you know what? Hey, I can actually go for this build. And so here we are, and it took a while to get here because I had put it off like many months, but now we are finally here. And so you can imagine how I felt once I finally got the build that I was looking for, especially when I managed to actually make it work pretty well. It's so good that in Warframe there is just so many goals you can set that you will actually aim for and actually get the things that you're looking for. Now, we talked about fashion earlier, but make no mistake, even though I did claim that becoming more powerful is really the true end game, I do not discount the fashion, because the fashion in this game is pretty good, and it's going to make it so you are going to want some platinum in order to spend some money on fashion. However, there is a free way of getting platinum, and that is with trading. And you can trade other valuable things to other players to get platinum. So, you know, that is another source of dopamine once you get that platinum, and you use that platinum to get what you are looking for. And the grind will actually be worth it. That is the best thing about Warframe. The grind actually being worth it. If 30% of Warframe wasn't worth it, then that would be an issue, because at the end of the day, if you're grinding all of these tedious things, because once again, Warframe does have tedious grinding, then if you go through all that tedious grinding and you don't get what you're looking for, or what you were looking for wasn't actually worth it, then that becomes an issue, and that's going to cause people to leave the game. But majority of Warframe does have stuff that's worth to get, and that is why it is a pretty good game to play, and it is a pretty good source of dopamine. You best believe that when more people start incorporating this kind of dopamine that we're talking about, then that is when we're going to be seeing more good games, and we're going to see more player time with these games.
We use a different chemical process, but it is every bit as pure.
Ah, tight, yeah. Blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man, just keep bringing me that. Oh. All right, we're gonna make a lot of money together.
Now, if there's anything that I want to be taken away from this video, is that just make it so that there is many things to earn in your game that is worth your while. Make sure that there is enough dopamine from the rewards you're getting. Make sure that these grinds are grinds that at the end of the day will be worth it once everything is done. Don't make it too easy. Don't make it too difficult, especially if the reward isn't even going to be worth it. That is the main thing here. It needs to be worth it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I think you guys get the memo now. This is how Warframe is a dopamine overload, and this is how it is a very well respected game. Now, make no mistake, whether that dopamine you're getting is that love and hate relationship, or it's that dopamine you want more of, ultimately that dopamine you want does have its downsides, because while you're going to want more and more of that dopamine because you love it, the thing is that you do realize that deep down inside you know that this isn't healthy for you, and you can't really keep continuing this. You want more of it. You love getting addicted to that drug, but at the same time, you know what that drug is going to do to you. Now, I'm not going to be a clown and tell you what to do. Obviously, there's stuff like smoking, soda, other stuff like pizza. Like, obviously, there's a lot of things that if you have too much of it, then of course that is unhealthy. Like, this is just basic common sense. But I don't want to sit here and act as if dopamine is like you're in heaven or something like that. Like, let's calm down, alright? But other than that, I'm sure a lot of you watching are most likely grown-ass men or grown-ass women. Me, myself, I'm 22, so we do whatever the fuck we want, okay? So I just wanted to bring that up here and, Just get that out there, alright? Now, if you like what was said in this video, then I recommend you check out my document about an idea for PvP in Warframe. Now, I'm already aware that we do have a shitty PvP mode in Warframe and that PvP is pretty much controversial in the Warframe community, but I promise you, if you like what was said in this video, then the same principles that was said in this video are going to be used in this document to make PvP actually good, and it's going to be an entirely new game mode. So if you like the sound of that, then I promise you that it is not going to disappoint. Please check out that document, and if you like it that much, then please share it to other people so that they can see it and we can get it out there, because this is a great idea. So moving on from that, hopefully you did enjoy this video, and if you want to see more Warframe content in the future, then please let me know by liking the video and subscribing. But thank you all for watching, and take care.